Welcome to Westview Sailing's online RYA Day Skipper Shore-Based Navigation course. I'm Duncan Wells, RYA instructor and features writer for Yachting Monthly. I'll be taking you through the exercises. Today, we're going to look at course to steer. You work out a course to steer when you want to get from your current position to a specific destination. Course to steer is proactive. You allow for the effect of the tide and the wind before you set off. We start off by drawing a line from our position, which we call A, to and through our destination, which we call B. Measure the distance from A to B, and bearing in mind the speed at which we expect to travel, establish approximately how long it will take us to sail this distance. If we would make this distance in an hour, then we will use 1 hour of the tidal set and rate. If it'll take us half an hour, we'd use half the hourly tidal rate. And if it takes us 2 hours, we'll be travelling across 2 hours worth of tide, and we'll have to allow for the set and rate for each hour. We'll stick with a 1 hour plot. We apply this tidal set and rate to our position A to give us the tide line AC. Now we mark off the distance we'll travel during the hour, our boat speed through the water, from C, and where this cuts the AB line, we will call D. You'll notice that we do not join up the end of our tide line C with our destination B. This is the cardinal sin of course to steers. The bearing of this line CD is then our course to steer in degrees true. This course will then need to be adjusted for magnetic variation to get to degrees magnetic, and then we will allow for leeway. So let's do one for real. It's the 5th of October and we've just had lunch anchored off Home Point, and we're going to head off back to Namley. We're in position 46 degrees 19 minutes north by 5 degrees 50 minutes west. It's a fix, so we mark it with a dot with a circle round it. We'll put the time beside it, which was 13:43, and the log reading, which is 1,435 miles. 1,435 miles. That's that. We always write the time and the log reading beside our fix so we know when it was taken. Now the first thing we need to do is draw a line from our position to and through our destination. So let's just do that. We will call our start point A and our destination B. This is the line we will be sailing down. And now we need to work out the course to steer to make sure that we follow this line. So we'll need to measure the distance from our start point to our destination to see how far it is and therefore how long it will take us. Measured off against the latitude scale, that's just a fraction shy of 6 miles. So if we're going at 6 knots, it'll take us an hour. And we'll be affected by 1 hour of the tide. Now we need to find out which hour of the tide we're sailing on and whether it's springs or neaps. So we can look up the set and rate in the tidal diamonds on the chart or in the tidal stream atlas. I'm not going to go through the detail of this process as we've covered this in the videos, the tidal hour and tidal diamonds and the tidal stream atlas. Suffice it to say that sailing from 13:43 to 14:43 on the 5th of October puts us into high water +4 on a spring tide, which gives us a set of 113 degrees true and a rate of 2.2 knots. So with 113 degrees dialed into the plotter, we put our pencil into A, line the central grid of the plotter up with something vertical or horizontal, and then draw a line sufficient to mark off 2.2 miles. With 2.2 miles into the dividers, that's where it comes to. And we will call that point C. 3 arrows for it being our tide line. Now we need to set our dividers to the distance we will travel through the water in 1 hour. our boat speed. We decided this would be 6 knots, so that's 6 miles. Then placing one end of the dividers in C, mark off where this 6 miles comes to, and where it cuts the AB line, we will call D. We've got 6 miles into these dividers, so one end in C, one end there, and that is D. The bearing of this line, CD, which we will just join up, will be our course to steer. And we can see that that's 357 degrees true. Now you have your course to steer in degrees true, you need to convert this to magnetic by allowing for variation. And then you may need to allow for leeway depending on your point of sail and what the wind is doing. For detail on these, please refer to the videos Magnetic Variation and Leeway. Magnetic variation on this chart is 7 degrees west at the time of doing this course to steer. So we will add this to the true course. 357 plus 7 gives us 4 degrees magnetic. Now we will be sailing down this line, but at this angle, like so. So if there is a wind from the east, we will be on a broad reach, on starboard, and the wind will push us negatively around the compass. So to sail down our line, our course corrected line, to reach our destination, we will have to add the leeway to our magnetic bearing in order to counter its effect. If it would push us off course by 5 degrees, our course to steer corrected for leeway will be 4 degrees magnetic plus 5 degrees, which is 9 degrees magnetic. Do you remember I said we never join up the end of our tide line with our destination, because that does not give us our course to steer. If we'd done that, look, C to B would have been there. Actually, by measuring off the distance we're going to travel in the period and coming to D, we come to quite a different bearing, quite a different course to steer. We work out how long it will take to get to our destination by dividing the distance AB by the distance AD, and in this instance multiplying by 60 because we were dealing with a 1 hour plot. You can get a clear idea of whether it will take you more or less than an hour by looking at your course to steer diagram. If D is between A and B, it's going to take you longer than an hour, and if D is beyond B, it will take you less than an hour. In this case, AB is 5.9 miles and AD is 5.3 miles. So 5.9 divided by 5.3 gives us 1.113. Multiplied by 60 gives us 66.8 minutes, or rather an hour and 7 minutes. Finally, we complete the marking up of our chart work. The AB line is our ground track and has 2 arrows. The CD line is our notional water track and has 1 arrow. And the tide line AC always has 3 arrows on it, and we've already marked these on. And that is course to steer. Thanks for watching. I'm Duncan Wells, and this has been Westview Sailing's online RYA Day Skipper Shore Based Navigation course. See you next time.